Right, I'm back with some voice. That was annoying. The mic unlisted itself again. Now the problem is the audio has done something similar. How's that? No audio. Is there no audio capture? Sourceback, how could you have let this happen? An assassination attempt on the rogue trader in her own chambers, right under the noses of your enforcers. A fierce growl rumbles deep in Abelard's throat. Master at Arms radiates grim fury. Her eyes are dark. Her lips paused. With a practiced hand, she removes the maul from her belt and offers it to you. An unforgettable error. I accept full responsibility and ask for due punishment. I want a full explanation, not vain chastisement. Not vain self-chastisement. Put the weapon away and report. Horseback hesitates for a moment before putting the maul away. Understood, Lord Captain. Reporting. All adjacent decks have been isolated. We have begun our search for the culprit and set up investigation headquarters on the officer's deck. The substance has been analysed and confirmed to be blood, containing traces of major mutations. While it poses no risk of infection to your ladyship, the very presence of such genetic aberration on board is a serious threat to the safety of the ship, and must be addressed promptly. Once word of this gets out, many among the crew will surely see it as a brazen challenge to your status as a rogue trader. How could this have been an assassination attempt? Then they would have filled the bath with acid or poison instead. There are easier ways to kill someone than drowning them in blood, as foul as blood may be. Cassia shudders. I beg to differ. Were something of this sort to happen to me, my heart would surely stop. What genetic aberration? The heresy of mutation. Mutants are vicious beasts who sow only ruin and death. They are devoid of all humanity, and the vile blood that runs through their veins feeds their unclean thoughts and urges. Numerous accounts speak of entire colonies falling prey to blood uprising staged by these creatures, all because their governors were too squeamish to order genetic purges. Alas, the Imperium's enemies are not limited to only those outside its borders. Mutants can become a considerable threat, especially when given the chance to organize. The heretics have revealed themselves and are eager to fight. Then fight we shall. Let the vessel be purged of their filth. Okay, what to do next? As one, every enforcer present gets on their knees. Lord Captain, this incident has cast a shadow on our honour. We only ask for one thing, a chance to absolve ourselves of our guilt. Allow me to head to the officer's deck at once, so that I may lead the investigation personally. Lord Captain, on the previous occasions it was your intervention that resolved a matter that my own rigidity had only succeeded in making worse. With all due respect to Mistress Sosbach, perhaps she would benefit from your fresh perspective. Seneschal, do you think so little of me that you would rob me of the chance to defend my honour? I am curious to see the Master at Arms in action. I will preside over the investigation. Of course, Lord Captain, I will arrange for an area befitting your status prepared on the officer's deck. Investigation time! I'm stuck here. I can't do anything until it's resolved. Oh. Gotta check anything new. We've got weapon scanner that reduces reload cost. A new force sword. I think here. Auto pistol. Armor. And then nothing new here. I got anything I can dump. Got some ship components. They ain't going to do much at the moment, so. Have a quick. If anything. Nope. Nothing of interest, but I think. How much do I need? I need 1,000. 900. Fuels. That's 12. Let's have a look. The wearer can move without provokes attacks opportunity as long as they're less than 50. An acid spitter. Nothing remarkable, to be honest. Oh, the map's back. Anyway, we need to get this investigation underway. Leave Jay and take Pascal with me. Well, I hope you have a good sleep. I just started off by finding out my mic wasn't plugged in because Windows didn't update and it messed up my OBS. Luckily, I found out quickly. Sosbach barks at the officers gathered before her. Her Ladyship the Rogue Trader has seen fit to honour us with her presence in order to monitor the course of the investigation. You are expected to perform your duties immaculately and report every step to me. Should any of your actions bring shame to the enforcers, you will answer to me personally. Lord Captain, the 3 officers before you have been tasked with conducting the investigation. The first, Captain Klein, is a veteran with a record of quelled uprisings of mutants, abominations, in the colonies. Captain Jinviri is young, but she has already preempted several mutinies among the ship's rabble. Lastly, there is Captain Orfko. His interrogation skills deserve credit, and he knows how to instill fear and respect firmly in the minds of riffraff. After careful assessing the officers' bearings and their uniforms, Abelard nods with satisfaction. Their drilling is good. The service records are excellent. Let's see how they perform in the field. Do you have any working theories? The mutants are plotting. Klein spits in disgust. They've been breeding like void rats, and so they're getting cocky. Must have wanted to infect your ladyship with their plague. It wasn't an attempt on the Lord Captain's life, it was a threat. The rabble are planning to revolt, so they're trying to terrorize us. Soon you will drown in blood. Insurgents pride themselves in such metaphor. Meanwhile, Captain Hofko is convinced that it was the working of Vugtir survivalist cultists. However, I believe this is a warning rather than a threat. What we need to establish is who is trying to warn us and what of what. Interesting hypothesis, but I doubt it is that simple, Mistress Sourceback. Grant me access to the investigative files. I have my own thoughts on what's going on here. The Master at Arms nods coldly. Of course, Master Interrogator. And what are your findings so far? We have discovered a worker's corpse mutilated and dissected. We are still looking into the man's identity and position, but the chirurgeon's report has confirmed that among all the blood that was pumped into your bath chamber, the blood-carrying mutations was indeed his. The workers from the nearby decks have been checking for genetic aberrations, but the mutations identified are all within the norm for labouring masses. They are being rounded up for interrogation as we speak. Even taking into account the neighbouring decks only, that constitutes hundreds of people. How do you plan to question them all? Our interrogation techniques are broad and varied. However, nothing loosens the tongue like corporal punishment, beatings, mutilations, torture, public executions. Sourceback almost purrs as she lists ways of making people suffer. When combined with psychological pressure, such methods work wonders. An unfortunate necessity, let us return to other matters. Indeed, Lord Captain, most unfortunate, says the Master at Arms, bloodthirsty smirk stealing across her face. And what do you pose we investigate first? The body. Once we have ascertained the dead man's identity, we will be able to locate his associates and narrow down the number of suspects. Captain Klein is in charge of examining the corpse. Yes, your ladyship, I'm almost done with my report. As soon as I'm ready, I'll deliver it to you. Then let us begin. While we wait for Klein to report back, please enjoy this refreshment that have been prepared for you, Lord Captain. A pair of enforcers with battered faces is escorting Infernus Master Heinrich Montag. His lip is bruised, his knuckles are grazed, and covered with blood. There is a chewed up iho stick between his teeth. One of the enforcers dons nastily. We apprehended him while he was trying to break through the detained rabble. He got into a scuffle. We barely managed to restrain the troublemaker. He'd abandoned an audience with you, Mr. Suspect. The Master at Arms nods, and the enforcers release their prisoner. Heinrich adjusts his clothes and approaches confidently. What do your enforcers think they're doing? Justakak. Why are you assaulting my people, denying them water like they're criminals? You've got teenagers and elderly folk here. They're all just ordinary workers. They've done nothing wrong. No, Heinrich. What you think you are doing. Attacking my people. Chastising me in front of the Lord Captain. Get out of here before I have you charged. Heinrich looks at you. Your Lordship, I ask you please to protect your servants from this abuse. Explain yourselves. The enforcers are reveling in their impunity, treating the crew like cattle, especially my clan. Many their custody are dying of thirst or injuries. My sister and niece are there too. I don't expect them to be exempt from investigation, but I'm begging you to put an end to these assaults and let my people have food and water. This is what the procedure demands. Intimidation loosens tongues, torment erodes sedentary will. The rabble are know only awe and terror. The words of the ship regulations ring out across the room. The void takes your procedures. These are not seditionaries. They serve the dynasty, just like you and I. And did any of them confess to anything useful? Nothing important, or indeed worthy of your attention. You detect a slight hesitation before the reply. There is something you are not being told. I am interested in any of the statements, even the most outlandish ones. One of the Inferni was found to be missing his pass to the room housing the worklog cogitator. Losing such a pass is a serious offence, but the scoundrel claims an enforcer took it from him. He could not specify the name and rank of the enforcer, but he did give a description. A man, tall, blonde hair. Obviously he is lying. He either lost it or sold it for a bottle of rotgut. Hendrik makes a note in his data sheet. There are more convincing ways of exculpating oneself than making up some mysterious enforcer stealing passes. This incident should not be forgotten. It may be connected to the case. Okay. Cease the beatings immediately. These people are to be provided rations and water. I would not dare disobey your Lordship's orders, even one I disagree with. Thank you. We won't forget your mercy. Henrik gestures at a dishevelled young woman and a short-haired girl in her teen. Both are dressed in unity coveralls and smeared with soot. Lord Captain, let me introduce my sister, Nemi, and my niece, Mia. Ladies, you should thank the Lord Captain for helping you. Hello, Your Majesty. Thank you for the food and water, and for not letting them chop off our hands. That would have left us a little short-handed. Nemi laughs awkwardly. Mia snorts and elbows Nemi in the ribs. It's your ladyship, and don't make jokes when you're so terrible at them. Do you wish the Lord Captain to change her mind and send you back? Argenta smiles warmly. A festive one, isn't she? She has the spirit of a true sister of battle. But when I look at her family, I am glad she has someone to take care of her, and that the Emperor did not call for her to serve him with weapons and fire as I do. Oh, so tempted to remove food and water for bad jokes. I'm gonna do it. That was terrible. That was terrible. This one gets no rations and no water. Are you serious? It was a jest. I too have a sense of humour. Nemi lets out a sigh of relief. Yeah, you got me good there. How did you end up in the hands of the enforcers? My status as senior officer exempts me from being arrested, but the same privilege did not extend to them. They were taken along with the rest of the clan. They were acting horribly. They were hitting people in the head and the ribs. They don't care if someone fights back or not. Nemesis would have never allowed that. Mia elbows her again. Shh. If they hear his name, they'll get angry again. Nemesis, you say? I wonder who that is. Nemi lowers her eyes in fear. No one. Just a hero from a tale my grandfather used to tell me when I was little. That's enough, Nemi. Heinrich scowls disapprovingly. You are not a child anymore, so stop bothering people with those silly rhymes. Forgive my sister, Lord Captain. That was inappropriate. Abelard sighs wearily. Nemesis, your ladyship, is a folk vigilante from the Voidsman's legends. Every few years, some hothead declares himself Nemesis. They always meet a sticky end, as do the foolish enough to believe in Nemesis' ravings. The seneschal levels a meaningful look at Nemi, who shrieks away. Return them to the rest of the detainees. Thank you, Lord Captain. They're all I live for, and thanks to you, the people most important to me can now be safe. Captain Klein snaps to attention, identifying the victim as proving impossible. His face has been smashed in, and his body is badly maimed. There are too many wounds to determine the exact cause of death, but presumably he died after the killer slit his throat. That's how they drained the blood. No external signs of mutations were found. In other words, we have nothing. Klein, this isn't a report. It's a declaration of our incompetence before the Lord Captain. You will keep digging around inside the corpse until you have produced some results. The enforcers' faces. Genevieve looks at Klein with sympathy, but clearly cares about him. She does not wish to trample on her comrade's honour with words of comfort. Urko regards Klein with a contemptuous smirk, while Klein scowls back at him. No external signs of mutation, you say. What about internal signs? Performing an autopsy was inadvisable due to the danger of contaminating the area with genetic aberration. You see a flash of genuine horror in Klein's eyes before his gaze turns glassy. You have seen that look before in the eyes of other veterans. It's the expression of someone reliving painful memories that have left behind deep scars. They cannot hope to overcome such trauma on their own. They would need help, or a partner, or perhaps some strong emotional stimulant. I've heard that medical officers often perform autopsies in pairs. One cuts at the body, the other records the findings. You should get a partner, Klein. According to regulations, one enforcer is required for this duty. However, your ladyship's proposal is reasonable. Did you have someone in mind? Specific in mind? Genevieve would be an excellent choice. You catch Genevieve's grateful look, then watch as she smiles encouragingly at Klein. Come on, Klein, you better teach the green on how to carve up mutants. I'll grab a pair of respirators. Make sure we don't catch anything. Klein is up to his elbow in blood, his eyes flaring defiantly. I've examined the filth inside and out. Its innards are a genetic nightmare. It's a bag of corruption wrapped in human skin. Extra organs, scales, trophied, ingrown limbs. But that's not what's important. The body was disfigured posthumously. They killed the mutant with surgical precision before opening his throat and draining the blood. It wasn't until after the actual murder that they crushed his head and tried to cover up his wounds. The wounds were so brutal I almost missed his work tattoo. The victim was a pipe warden, and I found this in his throat. Klein presents a blood-stained raven feather. A certain legend springs to mind, one involving Saint Curine, who was granted a portent of enemies hiding among the faithful. When Curine prayed to the emperor for a sign that might reveal the traitors, a raven's feather burst out of the mouth to inscribe the names of the conspirators. Only someone versed in the sympathy of the Imperium could have left such a message. Remember Saint Curine? Could this have been a sign? Biomutants do not make associations to saints. This was someone versed in the creed. What tattoo? What do pipe wardens have to do with anything? The pipe wardens are a worker clan that serves the ship's sewer system. The tattoo indicates the worker status and personal number. This one was SP24601, Senior Pipe Warden. For what purpose was the corpse mutilated? Someone wanted to hide the cause of death. What I fail to understand is why they would leave the body out in the open instead of disposing of it. Klein, I wish to give you a glass of anisette for your good work. You look like you need it. Klein accepts the glass and downs it instantly. Evidently, he is in no state to savour the bouquet and taste the fine drink you have offered him. What's our next step? We should run the victim's identification number through the master work log cogitator. If the machine spirit favours us, we will be able to narrow down the number of suspects. Genevieve, this is your area. Genevieve approaches you, followed by a dignified woman in crimson robes. Allow me to introduce the esteemed tech priest, Adovetra Pi. She believes she has the right to obstruct the investigation and refuse to grant the enforcers access to the master cogitator. The tech priest lets out an indigent Banheric thrill. I request that the laywoman willful activities be halted. She intends to torment the machine spirit, the masterwork log cogitator, Lota 3B. The inevitable spirit is ill and in no disposition to endure such abuse. What's the problem with the machine spirit? The spirit is old and quick to anger. It therefore calls for a sensitive approach, not a torturous intrusion by a brutish laywoman. Since the start of this watch, the spirit has been unwell, so we have been trying to soothe its woes by appeasing sacred undergarments, and censors, and great machines boards. The dogma of the data recuperative quarantine prohibits any disturbance to blessed machines found in such a state. And what does the dogma prescribe? Let no profane hands touch the sacred machine. Stricken. Let the mechanisms be shielded from all worldly troubles by a veil of righteous litany, and let the shrine be thrice honoured till the malade is no more. Judging by Javine's expression, she would rather have her profane hands touch Pai's neck. Pascal, how profane would you say your hands are? I am a Magos explorer, and this vessel's engineer prime. The profanity of this unit's hands, as well as the rest of its limbs, organs, and augments, is null. If the honoured Magos supervises the laywoman tactfully interactions with the spirit, I will sanction this disturbance. Raising her hands high, Adroviet Phi wails, Omnissiah, preserve us. The Great Spirit was infected by a layperson. That is the culprit you should be searching for, not some pipe-warden. Sacrilege. Requesting a Category 3 act of sacrilege resulting in a Category Epsilon Quadro transgression scenario. Requesting the inclusion of the officer in the registry of wanted entities for the purpose of expletive disposal. We have discovered that the cogitator's malfunctions began after an unauthorized attempt to access it was made. Someone deliberately angered the machine spirit in order to bury the work logs. Thankfully, the esteemed tech priest was able to appease the spirit and extract the information we needed. The victim's name was Otto. On the day he died, he was servicing valve 27B, which supplies water to a rogue trader's bath chamber. He also had a partner who has yet to appear for duty since the incident occurred. We have a suspect. One of the Inferni said he had his pass to the maintenance room taken away by an enforcer. Our villain? But how did they get past Genevieve's guards unnoticed? Sorsback stares at Genevieve and as she grows pale. We should find out if the shift's change took place without incident. If the culprit truly is an enforcer, or is pretending to be one, he could have orchestrated a gap between the guard shifts. Did the murderer get to the cogitator too? Impossible. Since the start of the watch, this area has been used as the centre of operations. No rabble could have slipped by unnoticed. Moreover, a common pipe warden wouldn't know how to commune with a machine spirit. The murderer had help. And who's his partner? Senior Pipe Warden Gwendon, number SP26855, an 8th generation pipe warden. No registered infractions, excellent discipline, perfect work record, and exemplary service of the Imperium. Master at Arms, how do you propose we find our new suspect? Before Sorsback can respond, Bogtor cuts in. Your Ladyship, there was a man named Gwendo among the rabble waiting to be interrogated. He immediately struck me as suspicious. Please allow me to question the man in your presence. Sorsback narrows her eyes, but all she says is bring him in now. Before you stands a gaunt man in work clothes. His face is swollen from the bruises and several of his fingers are broken and sticking out at odd angles. He stares vacantly into the distance with watery eyes. Start talking, you miserable wretch. You tried to kill the Lord Captain, didn't you? Rotko grabbed the worker by his lapels. Gwendon's coat flies open, revealing crude occult symbols painted all over his body. What's this? Heretical brands? Cultist scum. Senior Pipe Warden Gwendol yells, barking that remains of his teeth. Yes, it was me. I tried to put the curse on the Lord Captain. I killed my partner in the wicked ritual, rubbing elbows with them demons, consulting with them, or to carry out a dark plot and doom the Lord Captain for the glory of the Almighty Master. He bursts into a fit of hysterical, theatrical cackling. We have ourselves a model cultist here. There is a ritual, a curse, and a plot. He even consorts with them demons. How kind of them to confess to all that immediately. He has admitted everything, the vermin. I have insisted time and again that the assassination attempt was carried out by one of those Bugvir survivors, henchmen, and I was right. I guess we weren't so thorough in cleansing them out as we thought. Herocto casts a sharp look at Sorsback. Does the Master at Arms not find it strange that the suspect is so eager to paint himself in as a heretic, and in such a preposterous fashion, no less? I agree, Lord Captain. Sorsback growls, glares at the worker. I want the truth. Who are you, and who told you to give this pathetic confession? The man blanches and starts bawling. He gives up on his sinister theatricals and babbles in the voice of a common worker. Forgive me, your ladyship. I'm not Gwendon, and I'm not a heretic. Yart's my name. I'm a layman. Please have mercy. They took my family. That enforcer said they'd throw them out the airlock if I don't confess. She made me draw these unholy marks on myself. Abelard cast a significant glance at Sulzbach's relation. Your enforcers have a knack for persuasion, Mr. Sulzbach, but this is ridiculous. What enforcer? Name. Give me her name. Genevieve. Her name was Genevieve. What? I swear that I have not. Genevieve? The steely edge of Sulzbach's voice causes everyone present to freeze, and as you hear a note of bewilderment. We will deal with this later. I will handle the search for Gwendon myself. Lord Captain, would you have us execute this demon worshipper? Hold on, he lied to us more than once, and maybe he's lying to us still. Jenny Leary, do you have anything to say? I have never threatened his family, and I certainly did not force him to lie and draw heretical signs. I barely even remember his face. I may have interrogated him before, but it was for something else. But it was someone else who put him up to this. And yet he knows your name and pointed you out right away. Do you not find it funny? And do you not find it funny that your hand is always up your arse? Horotoko. It's obvious that someone's framed her. Ceases bickering, Sulzbach snarls, forces the officers to act down. Lord Captain, what we have here is a liar, and a well-coached one at that. He will never confess on his own. What do you suggest we do? Faith changes people. Take a book of palms and read it to him until he confesses. Undoubtedly inspired by your idea, Sulzbach rolls her eyes and faintly mutters under her breath, Emperor grant me strength. It will be done, Lord Captain. We will recite palms to the prisoner. What do you want us to do with him when we are done? Hang the heretic. Even factual symbols and mentions of arch enemies are capable of drawing corruption. It will be done. There is no cause for alarm, Lord Captain. This conspirator may have been fake, but now it is only a matter of time before we find the real culprit. We have the Pope Warden's name and identification number, and we know which clan they are from. We will keep pressuring the riffraff until either the culprit confesses or someone turns him in. I will handle this. The Master at Arms pointedly grips her maul on her belt. Please enjoy your meal in the interim, Lord Captain. The scoundrel will appear before us soon enough. Lord Captain, the real Pipe Warden Gwendon has been found, and is being escorted here as we speak. Are there any remaining questions you wish to address before we hear Gwendon himself? You can start by reporting on the results of the additional investigation efforts. Absolutely, Lord Captain. The interrogation of the detainee Yard had to be suspended. He seemed to have gone mad. He just kept muttering that it was Genevieve who set him up to lie, that he must therefore be set free. I doubt we will hear anything further out of him, be it with cruelty, kindness, or holy prayer. This concludes my report. Someone attempted to mislead our investigation. We cannot let this go without consequence. Undoubtedly, let us go over the facts that we have on this sabotage and compartment. The body of the deceased mutilated after death. It is likely that the nature of the injuries would have proven very useful in the investigation, and that the perpetrator concealed them for that very reason. Someone sabotaged the work log cogitator so that it would be harder for us to find the victim's partner who might have information valuable to the investigation. Instead of the murdered man's partner, we were given a fool, one who thoroughly incriminated himself first before admitting that Captain Genevieve put him up to it. Suspect glowers at Genevieve, and she pales with fear. Who was guarding the body? It was Genevieve. Klein reluctantly nods at his fellow enforcer. I relieved her when I came to inspect the corpse, which by then had already been cut up. Genevieve nervously adjusts her armor under Suspect's piercing gaze. The corpse was already looking like that when I came under my purview, but I could not get the name of the officer who discovered it. The deck was a mess that I decided I would deal with it later. Suspectior claims that you coerced him into lying about himself, Genevieve. What do you have to say for yourself? I may have conducted his preliminary interrogation like so many others. Horatko requested my assistance because of my experience in dealing with the rebel, but I swear that there was no truth to these accusations against me. I have never threatened his family, and I certainly did not force him to lie and draw heretical lines. I barely even remember his face. I may have interrogated him beforehand, but it was someone else who put him up to this. The transcript says you conducted Yart's interrogation alone. Why is that? Because I can handle a single layperson. Genevieve raises her chin proudly. Who had access to the work log cogitator? The tech priest did not let anyone near the cogitator. They even tried to prevent enforcers' investigation. Genevieve, where were you this entire time? Yes, ma'am. Since the start of the watch, I went there right after I handed the body over to Klein. The only time I stepped away was to retrieve the data slate from my quarters. I left a watchman, but when he went missing, most likely one of the officers did not realize he was on duty and sent him off on some errand, but I was only gone for a few minutes. Very convenient, a missing sentry, a data slate misplaced after regulations. Horatko drums his fingers on his holster of his belt, where his own dataset sits tightly nestled. I don't understand how I could have forgotten it. I always check my gear when I go on duty. One of the Inferno complained that the enforcer had taken away his pass to the room with the master cogitator, and it was a man. Then it wasn't her, just one of her accomplices. Will you give us a name, Genevieve? Shut your mouth, Horako. Nothing has been proven yet. Klein grows red in the face and brushes Genevieve aside with his shoulder. It doesn't sound like her, but I cannot decide, Suspect. You can handle this yourself. Suspect casts a menacing look over the room. Leave it to me. I will not rest until I get a confession, a real confession. In the meantime, let us go back to the assassination attempt. The pipe warden does his best to remain relatively bold, which paints a rather comical picture given his formidable height and complexion. He lowers his head, tugging at his beard. Senior Pipe Warden Gwendon, honoured to serve, Lord Captain. I'm ready to confess to everything. You are the real Pipe Warden Gwendon, are you not? I am, and I am proud of it, Lord Captain. A Pipe Warden's craft is hard work, but necessary. My number is SP26855. My work partner was the late Otto, number SP24601. I oversee the water supply system on the upper deck section A3, K8 and R2. That includes valve 27B. There can be no mistake. I have verified his identification myself. It has also been confirmed by the other workers. Did you kill the mutant partner? I didn't kill him, and I didn't know he was a mutant. Otto and I always got along, even if he wasn't much of a talker. But then he should us. A servant of death came from the darkness, and ended him quickly but harshly, then bled him dry and put a black feather in his throat. He told me to pump the water into the pipes, and then she left. I wanted to confess, but I was afraid she'd come for me too if I did. And whom do you mean by servant of death? A holy slayer in black and crimson and bone, feared by all. They are quite the merciless as death itself. They come from the shadows to kill because the Emperor commands them so. You have already met the servants of the Bloodspawn Wed, Lord Captain. Their grim procession is not one the upper deck will soon forget. Why did you fill my bath with blood? I did as the servant of death commanded. She said the Emperor gave the first spinner a sign that your ladyship should be bathed in the blood of poor Otto, my partner and I. Well, he gulps. I was scared, so I obeyed. First spinner, are you talking about the vizier of the Bloodspawn Wed? Yes, that's him. He leads the death cult, and a lot who worship the Emperor by killing. His spinners hunt down heretics, but sometimes they take righteous lives too. The service is mysterious, reverent, and bloody. If the vizier ordered it, there must have been a reason. The Undying One must have revealed something to him. that we are ignorant of. With the isobaric smile, Hendrik blows a steam of smoke in Sauceback's direction. What a shock turn of events. Jocasta. The Inferni are innocent. Who could have seen that coming? Could it have been that you were wrong in brutalizing and humiliating my people? Do not expect an apology from me. I was doing my duty. You can play the victim all you want, but I haven't forgotten the circumstances under which your blasted clan came to be on this ship. Consider every strike upon your back a reminder of that event. I'm the Vizier of the Bloodstone Web. I wish an explanation. As you wish, Lord Captain. Your Ladyship, if I may ask, what happened to me now? I never meant to anger you. I thought I was doing as the Emperor willed it. But here we are. I'm a simple man. I know pipes, and I know them a lot better than this people's business. My eyes aren't what they used to be, but I can still smell rust in metal, though not so much in people's thoughts. You acted as a true servant of the Emperor would. I will have you provided with the best ocular implant, Brooke. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, your Ladyship. I will serve you faithfully, and I will never forget your mercy. The Vizier of the Bloodstone Web treads lightly and silently as his old, gaunt body has no weight at all. He whispers weakly. Dominion Kinokon willed to see me, and so I have come. I have summoned you to discuss the actions of your apprentices. The Vizier responds in an equally respectful manner. Let their deeds be weighed. Investigations have established that the Bloodstone Web orchestrated an attack on her ladyship by means of pouring unholy blood onto her bath. This affront. The old man murmurs down at Saucerback's relentless voice. Dominion Kinokon knows the truth. So it was done, for so it I did will. It was not an affront, but a prophecy. For my hands to divine, unsullied martyrs offered their souls and bodies unto his impressionable embrace. I gazed at the red rivers of their smouldering lives, and I did see a roiling unclean stain, the bays reaching for the anointed Lady of the Ark. In my apprentice's last sight, I heard the Undying One's whisper. He bids me bathe the Dominion in the blood of he who must go, and they who have been righteous. For this will shield the Dominion and strengthen her body against the roiling unclean. I obeyed. What do you mean by the rolling clean? He did not reveal, but it is corruption itself. It offended him. It tastes as sweet as fetid water in old pipes. Its promises are the deception of an enforcer's smile. Its face is elusive. Master at Arms, are you convinced that we have found the culprit? The situation is clear, Your Ladyship. Sauceback makes a sign of the Aquila. The Enforcer sent us a portent. The protectors of mankind guides his hands of his holy servants to guard us and warn us of hidden threats. God Emperor, I thank thee for protecting us, even though there are instruments of your protection, those purity of holiness I may never understand. Kinokon, regardless of how regularly you kneel before an altar, I advise you to take this warning seriously. If I am correct in my suspicion about what is transpiring here, and I pray to the throne that I am not, then you can indeed consider this incident a sign that the Emperor is watching over you and this ship. Why so cryptic, Hendrix? If you have a theory about what is occurring here, share them. My theories are classified information of the Inquisition, and that I cannot divulge without good reason. If evidence comes to light that confirms my fears, I will disclose everything necessary. If, however, my concerns is baseless, I would not wish to share knowledge dangerous to you without cause. Could it be a coincidence that the victim of the ritual was a genetic aberration? The officers around you keep a respectful silence, but you can tell by their faint smile that they find the very idea of doubting the Emperor's providence absurd. The cult of the Bloodspun Web will face no persecution for their deed. Vizier freezes, listening to silence, then nods. Nothing. Yes, I will tell her. He turns his stone-shut eyes to you once more. We are seeds in your hands, giver of life. Whether you keep us or scatter us, we will be grateful. We will remain grateful. But that as it may be, we have hit a dead end. We hope that exposing the culprit would lead us to the aberration's lair. Sourceback, the investigation must continue. But no spinner or brave warrior from the dominant circle can find the root of the unclean, for it can appear as human and act as human. Only its thoughts betray its vile nature. Only its thoughts are never human. Wise. Anxious silence falls the moment Sourceback says this one word. She narrows her eyes. It is unclean thoughts we need to find. Very well, let Wise find them. He knows how, no matter how badly he wishes that the rest of us have forgotten it. Vinny Zachary is a fearsome hunter. When he hunts the flagship whales, when he thinks my teeth crack, and when I feel pain as if I am young again, but his power is great indeed. He can hunt down the prey. Correct me as I may be wrong, but it seems that not everyone here is eager to leave the matter to Master Wise. I would say that least eager will be Master Wise himself. Last time, his efforts caused some severe warp manifestations. The ritual truly is perilous. Not to put it too fine a point on it, Wise nearly destroyed the ship back then. Incidentally, he had given us multiple warnings that it could happen. Lady Theodora ignored him, and we reaped the result. Oh, why do we get the feeling? Oh, why do I get the feeling that I know what's going to happen next? That's all for now. Master at Arms, your duty is done. I give you leave to wrap up the investigation on the officer's deck. My duties will be done when the threat is eliminated. I will brief the enforcers while you consult Fire Master Wise, Lord Captain. That is where I'm going to leave it. Thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed, and until next time.